Welcome to Bit Boy Crypto, home of the BitSquad, the largest and greatest interwebs. My name is Ben. Every day on this channel, I show you how to make money in crypto. If you like money and crypto, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Coming to you guys a little bit different today. We're doing a remote live stream. This is a good test for us. I'm here in Houston, home of the Atlanta Braves. Am I correct? TJ's still in the studio, but next week we will be coming to you live every day remote, as I'll be in Las Vegas for the World Series of Poker. But I didn't want to leave y'all hanging. You know, we planned the poker trip. We thought this was going to be in the bear market, but here we are, still looking bullish. Ethereum hit an all-time highs yesterday. But let me tell you, my life hit an all-time high last night at the Braves game. I took my son and my friend Brian. We went to the game. We thought we were on the fifth row, but we were actually right behind the Braves dugout. So it was actually the first row behind the dugout. We were so close to the player. Soler hit that solar shot into the solar system last night, gave us a 3-run lead. Astros never scored. He was the MVP. It was amazing to be there as the Braves won. And if you're a huge sports fan, you know, being there when your team wins a championship, especially after all the stuff Atlanta has been through. I was at the Super Bowl. I was at the Georgia championship game where we lost. A lot of sad moments in sports history for Atlanta and Georgia, but we pulled it off last night. So congratulations to the Atlanta Braves. Sometimes I feel like I am on the team, which I actually, believe it or not, am not. But it was pretty fun. We had a great time last night. TJ, what were your thoughts on the game?
Wow, the game was awesome. I think we were talking this morning. It was I said, like, they hit that early home run, got that 3-0 lead. You're feeling good, but you still have that kind of PTSD of being an Atlanta sports fan of like, it feels good, but it also feels like this is right the point where they screw it up. And then I think it was the 5th or 6th inning when, Soler started ripping it. Freddie came right up and hit the solo home run. And it just felt like we got this, like, championship coming back to Atlanta. And I think Atlanta's going to turn back into a championship city, win it left and right. So,
yeah, I hope so. I hope that's definitely the case. I know the Falcons aren't winning the Super Bowl this year, but Georgia should be winning the national championship. The Hawks are really, really good. So we'll see what happens. Maybe next year with the Falcons. I think we got to get a new quarterback. I love Matt Ryan, but I just think it's time to move on. But anyways, that's a different conversation. We'll talk about football another day. So, guys, what happened yesterday? Ethereum all-time highs. We're going to look at that today. We're going to look at the charts. We're on a minor retracement now, and that's all good. So let's go ahead. Come with me. Let's jump in. Here we are on YouTube. You guys can see that we have 1.35 million subscribers, as we have ticked up on the march to 1.5 million subscribers here, hopefully by the end of the year. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter. We have 637,000 followers here, as you can see. And also, if you want information about our meetup in Las Vegas this weekend, you guys can go ahead and check this out. It is sponsored by Cirrus Foundation, and we have an Eventbrite for this. Can we do a new one, TJ, where we pin this?
Yeah, I thought.
Or are we just going to say it's too late to get the people signing up?
We can repin it. I thought that he did it yesterday, but either way.
Okay. All right. So that's really fun. Looking forward to that. 329,000 followers on Instagram. We have 3,000 followers on my account. We're basically just turned into a baseball account. You guys can see me and my son there last night at the game. This is how close our seats were. Really exciting stuff. There's a World Series trophy before they showed it on TV. So really cool stuff. And don't forget to follow us on TikTok, as we have 2.7 million followers there. Real funny video about Shib I made the other day that's really crushing it. And I did want to say, if you missed the show yesterday, where we talked about our meetup here in Texas, we were going to do a meetup in Texas probably in January or February. Just didn't have time to pull it off this week. I really wanted to do it, but don't have any of my staff here, and so it's just going to be better to do it more organized. Look at this volume, 132 billion. I believe at one point yesterday, I think it was almost 200 billion.
Yeah, I definitely saw over 150 for sure.
Yeah, it was edging close to 200 from what I was told, but I didn't see it with my own eyes. 2.7 trillion in market cap, still approaching the $3 trillion number. And look at this. This is so interesting, as we have Bitcoin dominance at 43.3%. Everybody was predicting this thing massively ripping up, and we just haven't seen that with the Bitcoin dominance. It's going to take you 90 Paraguays to get you an ETH transaction. So let's look at what's going on the markets right now. Bitcoin coming in at $62,000. Ethereum at 45.31. Notice Ethereum is up slightly for the day, while you have Bitcoin down 2.7%. 0.55%. And we'll look at the charts in a little bit and look at how high each of these went. But I think something very significant to note here is that Binance Coin has really pulled away in that number 3 slot. It's sitting here at $90 billion. Ignore Tether, and you'll notice that Cardano is in 4th place for altcoins at $68 billion, and Solana is 67.83. Let me yeah, somebody just sent me a message that said it did hit over. There was a point last night where it did hit over $200 billion. I just refreshed it because to make sure I had the latest numbers here for specifically here for Cardano and Solana. As you can see, they're very close. We will be covering a story here in a little bit where we'll be talking about Solana, and a lot of people right now are super bearish on Cardano. I'm seeing it left and right. I'm seeing people saying it's over, give up on Cardano. Guys, can we keep in mind right now for Cardano that it is still number 5, right behind Tether, behind Binance Coin? It's still number 5. It's not like Cardano is number 48. Okay, it's still the 5th largest crypto in the world right now. And when you look at actual altcoins, basically only Ethereum and Binance Coin are above it, right? We will be covering a story that briefly yesterday, Solana did flip Cardano, but it was not a permanent move. Now, will it move up for longer and make it a more prolonged move? Definitely, there's the potential. I mean, look at Solana, it's coming at $225 right now. Cardano's had a nice pump as well, up to $2.06. And guys, the reason why I want to talk about this and say that this is significant where Binance Coin is at number 3, because there was a time back in early April where Binance Coin hit $600, okay? And it was massively ahead of everything else. It was right behind Ethereum, and it was massively ahead of Cardano, massively ahead of Solana, massively ahead of XRP. Solana wasn't even in the conversation back then, right? Polkadot, massively ahead of Polkadot. But guys, what happens? These things cycle through. You look at this number here, if you want to show the screen, for Binance Coin, and you see it's at $91 billion, much higher, like almost 50% higher. Well, maybe like 35% higher than Cardano, coming in at 68 billion. But these things change very quickly. And what happens a lot of time is people get lulled to sleep by the lack of action of a coin. And so they want to sell out of it. But I would definitely not sell out of Cardano at this point. It will be going on a massive move. Will it be next week? Will it be next month? I can't tell you exactly when it's going to be, but it will certainly happen. Don't let these recency bias. I'll call it recency bias, where you're like, no, Binance Coin is crushing it. No, Solana is crushing it. Everything in crypto is cyclical. You have to remember that. Biggest gainers of the day, real quick. Maker up 35%. Sandbox up another 25%. It's up 328% for the week. Arweave, AMP finally breaking out, almost to 6 cents. Telcoin, Cadena, which I don't even really know what Cadena is. I think we covered it at some point. Can't remember what it is. I think it's, let's see, what blockchain is that on? Is it its own blockchain? Possibly. Doesn't really say here. Let me click this. Yeah, I guess it's its own blockchain. I didn't even know that. Okay, well, cool. So Cadena is crushing it right now. That's pretty good. Synthetics having a good day, over 10%. Solana 9%. Terra, Avalanche projects. We told you, great, things to go after when it comes to projects that are very consistently moving up. Let's move to Q&A. Yep. Just so you guys know, today I actually can't see the chat. TJ is going to be covering the chat for us. But next time we cover remote T, I think we figured out a way to where I'll be able to see the chat too.
Correct. Yeah, we do have kind of on your what you kind of spoke to this with Cardano already, but we're getting a lot of this kind of what you were saying, people getting bearish on it. Crypto Cali in the basement. What's your view on ADA? It seems to be sleeping. Do you feel your end of cycle predictions are still the same?
Yeah, because when it starts moving, it's going to rip. Right now, Solana has got all the attention. Binance Coin, but the weird thing about Binance Coin is it's actually ripped. Let's see, compared to Solana, how much it's moved this week. It's actually moved more than Solana this week. And you don't hear people talking about Binance Coin, which is really, really interesting to me that Solana has all the hype behind it. But I believe all the numbers for Cardano are still in play 100%. There's this idea, and I'll just tell you, if you genuinely think this is the truth, you don't understand crypto. There's this idea that I'm seeing from a lot of bearish people that every coin is going to move and Cardano is just going to stay at $2 forever. That's really idiotic thinking, to be honest with you. This is recency bias, like I said. It hasn't moved lately. It hasn't performed well lately. And people forget all of Cardano's moves to get from basically 5 cents to $3. They were all lightning quick moves. It was basically 3 to 4 massive moves that it made, and then it just stays stagnant. So you got to keep staying in for that giant move.
Yeah. Also, with 1.24 billion going into the BTC futures ETF, was that liquidity that won't be pumping the spot market? Can we expect a lower high?
No, no. I mean, the institutions that are pouring money into the futures ETFs, these are not, it's not like the ETF provides these institutions a new way to invest. There are several institutions that literally, the way they were set up in hedge funds, they could not invest into crypto. Okay. They just couldn't. So this ETF is a way for companies that have rules and regulations against them investing in crypto to invest into Bitcoin without having hard copy of the Bitcoin backed up. So it's not like they were like, oh, you know what? I was thinking about buying 100 Bitcoin, but instead I'm going to go jump into the futures. That's not really the way that it works.
No. From King Jedi, what type of crypto will you buy in the bear market?
Yeah, so we actually have a video coming out where we're talking about, bear market holds. Chainlink, the number one, I believe, to get into. It performed very well during the last bear market. We're obviously going to hold Bitcoin. We're going to hold Ethereum. We're going to be selling like 80% to accumulate more down the road. And then also, what was the other coin? We got those
Some
three.
exchange
Can't
coins
remember
we've
what.
talked FTX we've talked about.
Well, that's a different conversation. I can't remember. We just recorded a video where we had four. Oh, Cardano is the other one. Yeah, Cardano is the other one. When it comes to, so that's a different conversation. The number one conversation we just had is things we will look to hold. The next conversation is what will we look to accumulate the most in the bear market. Like TJ alluded to, we're looking at exchange coins. We're looking at FTX. That is a huge target. And then we're looking for coins that we really missed out on the gains for this bull run. We didn't have enough data. We definitely missed Luna. We definitely missed
Phantom.
what's the other one we missed?
Phantom.
Another huge one.
FTM.
Phantom. We missed Phantom. We missed Axie Infinity. These are projects that we just whiffed on for this bull market. So because of that, those are the ones we'll be really. God, Phantom's at number 32 now. Yep. It was not even in the top 100 like just recently.
It's crazy.
So those are ones we'll definitely be looking to move on.
Yeah, and apparently a lot of chatter in here saying I don't remember what we said about Pomp yesterday, but apparently he didn't like it and said something about it. So we'll have to look into that. I don't know.
I said he was pompous for talking bad about Shiba.
I can't remember.
I mean, that fits his Bitcoin only narrative. I mean, so if he said something about it, then good. People have to have opinions on what we say, and that's fine. But if Pomp will go to that video and actually read the comments on it, he will see that is the exact general feeling that people have about what he said. Yeah. So when we are in this space, this idea that these meme coins have zero relevance, like the major ones, Dogecoin and Shiba, the fact that they have zero relevance and to scold people for buying them, like that's not a good move in crypto. That's not what crypto is about. Like when we really look at these meme coins in a lot of ways, these are probably what we will look back on as the earliest community coins, really. Mm-hmm. And Raul Powell says community coins are going to be absolutely huge. He says these are going to be the next big mover in crypto, something to watch for the next bull cycle. And that's really what these are. They're communities of people to get behind these coins and speculate on the price and send the price, heavily upwards. That's kind of what crypto is all about, right? Mm-hmm. Taking back control and letting us be in power. And, I know that you get a lot of these maxis that have their panties up in a wad that, Bitcoin is not the end all be all, and Ethereum is going to eventually pass Bitcoin. There's literally zero question about that. And they just get angry. They get angry because they want people to think like them. They want people to think like them. And when you don't think like they do, they punish you for it. They criticize you for it. And that is like the most archaic, boxed in way of thinking there is imaginable.
Yeah, I agree. So we got about 10,480 people watching right now,
Okay.
about 1,700 likes. I think we can get that up a little bit.
Yeah, guys, go ahead and smash up that like button if you're watching on a mobile. Exit out of the live chat, hit the like button, then you can re-click the live chat icon and be back in. If you're watching on smart TV, bottom left-hand corner of your screen, more actions, more options. Hit react and then like this video, or dislike this video if you're a Bitcoin maxi. Either one, it all counts the same.
And
So yeah, all right. Well, let's look at charts here for a
Yeah.
little bit. I want to know what he said. What did he say?
I don't know.
don't want
We'll have to look. I don't think it would. They just said, I don't know if he said something about wanting to talk or what, which would be great. If he wants to come on the show, he's more than welcome. Yeah.
Well, it's just, the thing about it is as I was watching that video and listening to what he was saying, in my brain, I was like having all these thoughts about the way that he sounded. And then I went to the chat and all of the comments were exactly what I was thinking. And so I think that there's something to that, maybe he doesn't understand the way that he's coming off about this topic. That may be the truth. So
there you go.
But yeah, I mean, we'd have him on. I've had Pomp on my show before.
Yeah.
Okay, and like I said yesterday, I like Pomp, and I always had good interactions with him. So nothing personal towards him. All right, here we go. We are on the Bitcoin chart here. This is the daily chart. Let's see, did that? No, the green dot did not disappear. And one thing to note down here is very interesting, is that the money flow, the green kind of waves here, they haven't really moved. It's been very consistent, really since the middle of October. We had spiked back September 18th in the money flow, where people were feeling very bullish. And then, of course, we had a giant dip. We're not seeing any spikes. Everything is very fluid right now, very consistent, and it looks good. We're dancing off the top of these EMA ribbons right here, which is pretty good. I will tell you what I was told. What I was told is to expect a day or two retracement here. Obviously, it may, by the end of the day, it could be done, but this is just a small retracement. It's a small correction from yesterday. Everything was overheated yesterday, and that's kind of what you get at this point. Yesterday, we went all the way up to, let's see here, 64,390. The last time we went over 64,000, we did head on up to new all-time highs. Well, is that true? Let's see. Hit this would, yeah. The last time we went over 64,000 was back here, and we shot up. So what we saw last time was a gigantic move upwards very quickly. This time we're not seeing that. We're seeing incremental movements, and what that really does when you get these incremental moves on the market is it builds that support, and that's good because that's going to allow us to have higher lows instead of lower lows, which is going to ultimately lead us in an upward trajectory, which is good. Just kind of looking at the market here, nothing really that significant. Nothing has changed in the last couple of days. I would say, let's see, I'm trying to look at somewhere on the chart we can kind of compare it to. Don't really see anything at this point. So this could be maybe a new pattern we're looking at. Unless if we were to dip, you can kind of look back here and see how large drop kind of gained some momentum and then another large drop. But I will say I don't see that happening at this point. Everybody's excited about Ethereum right now, and for good reason. I mean, look how high this thing is heading. This is looking like stairway to heaven over here. We're going to look at some Ethereum stories here in a little bit that forecast exactly how high people are thinking Ethereum is going to go. And here's a spoiler alert: it's probably higher than you're thinking. I've got some numbers where I think it is going to, and we'll talk about that when we get to that section. But here on Market Cipher, we did have a green dot yesterday as prices went up. The price did spike today all the way to 46.48. Right now, we are sitting at 45.48, so $100 below where it peaked at. We could certainly have a retracement here, but it was nice to see Ethereum kind of begin to blow past some all-time highs, like not just get to them and drop and reestablish them. I would like to see like a giant green candle to get this thing up to 47, 48, 49, 5,000. I mean, 5,000 is the next number we're looking at. You agree, obviously?
Yep. Yeah, I think that's a good psychological standard number. It's a nice round number. Then people will be looking at, 8 and 10 and beyond. So yeah, I think 5,000 is the next natural psychological, resistance.
Yeah, $5,000 ETH. That certainly is exciting.
It's crazy.
We weren't thinking about this. It was at 4,400 when it peaked out in May or April, whenever it peaked out. And I guess it was May. And at that point, like, we were maybe looking at $5,000, but nobody's thought about $5,000 since then.
Well,
So getting up to 5K.
That's what I was gonna say. Last time I was legitimately talking about $5,000 Ethereum was probably January 2018 when it was $1,400, and I believed in, oh, it's gonna go up forever, it's gonna super cycle, and no, don't, it's going to 5,000. It's great buy right here at 1,400, and then
yeah, smart,
yeah,
and you were right.
Yeah. Just wrong timeline.
Kind of.
Yeah. Live and learn.
All right, let's move on. TJ, can you pop up on the screen for 1 second? I'm gonna go.
Sure.
I'll be right back.
Boom. All right. I guess I can take the whole screen. You can. Oh, look. We can look at the lonely corner there where Ben isn't today. Well, that's where he would be, but I'm just in here by myself, hanging out with you guys. And big shout out to everybody in the basement and for hanging out with us here. And we really love doing the show. It's fun doing the remote one for this time. We've never done that before, and so good so far. BitPool news. Sweet. Oh, he's back. There he is. All right.
I'm back. I just was having some drainage. My voice is wrecked. So
I bet.
Yeah, I thought that'd be better than to do Hakalugi on the screen. Maybe. Am I lagging a little bit?
A little bit, but it'll pick back up. It's just, yeah.
Okay. All right, guys, let's move on to the news here. We got Coinbase offering customer loans up to $1 million using Bitcoin as collateral. How nuts is this? We now have collateral moving to the mainstream. And it's very interesting that the government and the regulation wants to come after Coinbase for their lend program, right? But they're not going to say anything about Coinbase lending out $1 million with Bitcoin as collateral. I mean, at first glance, don't those things seem to be kind of similar?
Say that again. The Bitcoin collateral versus,
like the Bitcoin lend program versus what they're doing here with loans. Like, if you were the government, you want to go after Coinbase for doing this lend program, which is staking with stable coins, but yet now they're going to just be offering people $1 million in loans. Like, it almost seems like those two things, like the government would not allow either one of them.
Well, here's the big difference. One threatens the dollar, one doesn't. Like, if you have a lot of Bitcoin, you want to get dollars, great. But if you have a lot of dollars and you want to get Bitcoin, not so good.
No, 100%. So that's why you just see the hypocrisy with the government on all this. But when you understand what's really going on beneath that and under that, because the stable coins are a threat to the banks and a threat to the bond markets because of the returns. You start to understand what they're allowing, what they're not allowing, and why this is going to end up being okay for Coinbase to do. So big news for the BTC set. We're excited to announce that eligible customers can now borrow up to $1 million from Coinbase. If you ever needed cash for something urgent, like medical bills or car repairs, if you ever broken your arm, sell your Bitcoin. Let's see here. Jeez. So you can borrow up to $1 million. New feature has no fees or credit checks.
Oh, that is interesting. No fees.
Yeah. Just a low APR of 8%. So borrowed cash can be instantly added to PayPal too. We can get $1 million on PayPal. That'd be interesting. Customers can borrow as much as 40% of the value of the Bitcoin in their account, up to $1 million. Each month, you just have to pay the interest. So pretty interesting. It's a good way to cash out crypto without actually selling your crypto. More interesting news here about Bitcoin. The Miami mayor planning to accept his next paycheck entirely in Bitcoin. The mayor said he would prefer to use an app like Bitwage or Strike rather than having the local government convert the fiat paycheck into crypto. Is that his way of saying the people that work for the local government are imbeciles?
I think that's his way of saying he wants to be aligned with crypto technology companies.
But yeah, I think so.
That might be a nicer way to say the same thing.
Francis Suarez, or Mayor Suarez, says he's going to take his next post or check in Bitcoin. Let's see. How much is that check, I wonder? Oh, here it is. It's time. Who's going to be the first American politician to accept their salary in Bitcoin? So coming from Pomp, and he's going to be taking it. So pretty cool here. He owns Bitcoin and Ethereum. He wants to turn Bitcoin into a Crypto Hub. Then we also have a few other mayors. We have Jason Stewart of Cool Valley, Missouri, which we had talked about before, giving more than $1 million in Bitcoin. Eric Adams, who is the mayor of New York, he did win last night, from what I understand, says he plans to make the city the center of Bitcoins.
Perfect. Well, they
Cool,
have the
Eric.
Bitcoin Center there, so
The center of Bitcoins. So pretty interesting stuff. Did you see any of those governors races last night? Those are pretty interesting results. We won't get political here, but
well, let me
there were
ask
a
you
lot of
this:
people surprised about what
to
happened
make
yesterday.
a case, just throw out the like the charts and the data and everything we looked at before with the cycles, like to make the case for the extended cycles. I think a lot of people would point at, oh, look, this mayor is trying to make Miami, like the kind of race that we're going to see politically. Like Miami wants to be the head financial city. New York has been for years and years and years. Now New York's acting like they're going to want to compete with that statement of making it head of the Bitcoin center or whatever, or the center of Bitcoins. Do you think something like that could spur enough interest in 2022, 2023 to make it, even if it's not in a super cycle, like we don't keep going up, maybe we just have a diminished bear market, or a greatly diminished bear market? What do you think about that?
No, I don't see any way that's possible. I mean, look at what was going on with Coinbase going public back in May.
Right.
That was such a huge story. Tesla was all in the news. Elon Musk was all in the news. These are some of the peak attention getters in the world. Okay, and Bitcoin dropped 55% in a day, or well, maybe it was a week, whatever it was. Like, think about that. We just went through all this, and it happened. So to think that it's not possible of falling that much in another 20 to 30%, I think that's not smart thinking. I mean, here is what people have to remember. It's not that Bitcoin is necessarily bearish during the bear market. It's that the Bitcoin halving and the fundamentals and the supply shock drive Bitcoin to an unsustainable price during the bull market. The bear market is simply a correction of that unsustainability. Okay. So I think we're going to see nothing different here. The mayor of Miami accepting Bitcoin as a paycheck has zero to do with the price.
Yeah.
Literally zero. Absolutely nothing. If President Brandon said, "Hey, I'm going to take my paycheck in Bitcoin," maybe that could have a significant role, but he's not going to do that. None of the major politicians are going to do that. Why? Because they're all involved on the inside and they already know what's going on. So, I am, by the way, there are some conversations happening very soon about what a bear market will potentially look like, between the financial cartel, and I will let you guys know. I will have I will have some information on that as it comes. So of course I'll give you all the updated info on that, and I think people are going to listen to what I say after we call the exact top of Bitcoin. So
Yeah, no, and I agree with you with what you
but
said. I was just curious to hear your opinion. And the point I was making, that we
yeah,
make a lot for the people at home, is no matter how bullish it feels, and I think you said it well, it is still bullish. We're just gonna have such a quick run up, it has to correct on some levels. So anybody that says it's gonna go up forever, just keep this in mind. Like it will correct no matter how, even, and it's still super bullish and it's still gonna get adopted, but it just can't go up forever.
and I would say this, I would say almost everyone who believes that there is a super cycle coming, or a I know Benjamin Cowan makes his, like, from a chart perspective, why there's a lengthening cycle. So I'm gonna leave that out of this argument. But everyone believes that it's going to go up forever and that it's going to be in a super cycle and we're going to go up for years, or there's going to be no bear market. Almost all of these people are new. Okay,
Right.
anyone who has been here through at least two cycles knows, because we've been through. That's part of getting into crypto, is having those feelings and the euphoria, and being so down the rabbit hole that you
Mhm.
can't understand why it will go down, right?
Right.
But we've seen it all throughout history that it does, and so that's why we just got to give you that warning. Because listen to what TJ said just a minute ago. He told people at $1,400 Ethereum was a great buy in 2017 or 2018. I got my grandpa to buy $3,000 worth of Bitcoin the literal day of the exact top, right? The exact top of Bitcoin. That day I convinced him to buy $3,000 worth of Bitcoin. I was like, so much money, because we hadn't really felt the full depth of these cycles like we felt them over the last 4 years. And we want you to understand and be prepared. We don't want to ruin your parade or be doomsday. We just want to tell you what's real and what's coming. And there's a lot of people out there that I believe don't truly understand what's coming. And we want to play a role in helping you guys to be there.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Analysts say impulse move could send Ethereum price into the $6K to $14,000 range.
That's a big range.
Spectacular. Let's see it. You like that?
Hold on. Yes, I do. That looks awesome.
Yes. Thanks. So anyways, this is based on a fractal of Ethereum. We could see an impulse wave to $6,000. Now, I will say this. I do see this coming. I do see a move to $6,000 happening pretty quick. A simple, straightforward price projection for Ether was offered by Cointelegraph contributor Michael Van de Pop, who posted the following chart, estimating an impulse move from 6,000 to 6,400, which could occur sometime between November 2021 and January 2022. This will happen much closer to November, December than it will to January. January, it will be moving above $6,000. So analysts are expecting another breakout soon. Twitter user John Wick. That's a good crypto name, John
That
Wick.
is.
I like that. Did you guys see Aaron Rodgers dressed up as John Wick talking about he was going to take a salary in Bitcoin?
No, that's funny.
Did you not know that? It's part of a Square. It's part of Square. You know, Aaron Rodgers would be friends with Jack Dorsey.
Yeah, he does.
I can see that.
Yep.
They're two peas in a pod. If Aaron Rodgers didn't play in the NFL, he would have a nose ring for 100%.
I don't know about
no
that.
question about it.
You think?
Aaron Rodgers is a strange bird. I will tell you that. He's very, very unique. I'm not saying he's a bad person. I'm just saying he's a very unique person. Okay, so let's see here. Ethereum continues to make all-time highs. And I'll tell you what I was told. Expect a lot more all-time highs from Ethereum coming soon. Final perspective is from Matthew Hyland. Compares price action in 2017 with the market structure of ETH. He says $14,000 plus. That's not happening, guys. I hate to tell you. Here's Ethereum in 2017. Here is Ethereum for 2021. All of this is projected. I think we will actually be more in line to see a similar move to 2017. This here is a much more massive move. How about that? I already told you guys the number I'm hearing. 10,500, between 10 and 11,000. This will probably be the number where Ethereum settles at. It could peak slightly above 11,000. And I've always said between 10 and 12K, or not always, but since May, I said between 10 and 12K will probably be the top. And I think that's probably going to end up being dead on. We also have Goldman Sachs predicting Ethereum could hit $8,000 this year. Now, I think Goldman Sachs does not have the latest information on where this price is supposed to be going to. The reason why I say that is because if you remember, I told you guys a while back that the anticipated target for Ethereum should have been somewhere between $6,500 and $7,000. That was the only price I had heard for the people that control the markets where they want it to go. And now you see this, they're saying $8,000. Well, I just found out very recently, like I said, that the new target should be somewhere around $10,000 to $11,000. So, I think we will see this number start to move up. I think the $14,000 target is very important that we saw in the last chart, because if you understand how this works, when the prices are moving up, the people that like to control everything through the media narratives, they will start giving you much higher price points than Bitcoin will actually see, right? Or Ethereum. So for Bitcoin, you're going to see all these people talking about a $300,000 to $500,000 Bitcoin is going to peak out at 100K. For Ethereum, we're going to see people talking about a $14,000 or $14,000 to $20,000 Ethereum, maybe higher, maybe a $30,000 Ethereum, and then it's going to peak out about $10,000 to $11,000 and drop back down. So definitely something to watch there. All right, here we go. Solana flips Cardano and sets a new all-time high. Let me get a sip of water here.
Yeah. No throaty Cody today, huh? Gotta just do it old school.
Yeah, I might need Allison to go to Vegas and make me throaty Cody every morning.
Maybe we'll get Brian to do it for you.
Yeah, probably so. Solana flips Cardano and says new all-time high. Will it rally higher? I'm still trying to find out if Solana is going to end up having one more gigantic, massive move that can send it possibly up to $1,500 or more. I don't have any resolution on that yet. I told you guys that there were some conversations taking place about that. Solana has overtaken Cardano to become the fifth largest crypto. We know that was just temporary, as it is not right now. Is at a new all-time high of $230. Wow. Cardano occupied third place in the market just behind Bitcoin and Ether. However, it's lost its place in the market in recent weeks, with Binance Coin, Tether, and Solana all ahead of it in this regard. Solana's value has increased 11% over the last 24 hours. By rallying more than 11% over the past 24 hours, Solana reached a new all-time high of 230 a few hours ago. Its market cap is above 68 billion. Let's get the latest check on this and see exactly where these are at. Let's see. Cardano's still ahead. Cardano's pumping right now. It's at 208. And look at it, XRP back to $1.18. So pretty good news there. Polkadot 53.18. I just love looking at these numbers.
I think XRP got relisted somewhere. It could be the reason for
Did
that.
it?
I think. I can't remember which exchange. I just feel like I heard that.
Interesting. Well, later on, we'll be talking about the wrapped XRP, and that could be gigantic as well for price move for XRP. So crypto market has been performing excellent since the start. It's a new all-time high of 230 for Solana. Solana can maintain its current momentum, then it could rally higher and make a move towards $250 resistance level. Why is $250 a resistance level?
I don't know. It's not.
That's price discovery. I mean, I guess they're just saying it's a round number. That we would call that a psychological level. We wouldn't call that a resistance level. But an extended rally could see Solana make a move towards 300. However, need the support of the broader crypto market if it is to reach $300 soon. And I mean, I think this is a really key statement right here. Solana would need the support of the broader crypto market if it is to reach a $300 level soon. We don't usually see these projects like running on their own. You know what I mean? Solana has definitely done it when the market has been going down, it's been going up. But what really will make this whole thing move forward is the entire crypto market moving up. As Bitcoin and Ethereum are making higher levels, everything below them are naturally going to reach higher levels. That's why we see XRP moving, even though the SEC case is not over. You see it moving because the entire space is moving up and XRP is going to run with it. But the things that make a lot of these coins run on their own and outside of the normal waves, they're usually specific to the coins, like Cardano with the big news from Africa, smart contract news. What was the listing on Coinbase news? Same thing for Polygon. Polygon transactions going through the roof. That was something that made it rise back in the day. Chainlink partnerships. That's a joke. Chainlink partnerships don't make Chainlink move. So, that's kind of what happens. But it is important the entire space has got to move up together to get to the highest levels that we want to get to. That's why, because Bitcoin is not going to reach numbers we thought it would earlier in the year, like $300,000 or $250,000, that has a compound effect on the top price targets for altcoins. I mean, we still do believe altcoins are going to explode as we get to the end of this run and make massive moves, but they're not going to be as massive as if Bitcoin went up to $300,000. Why? Because if Bitcoin were to go up to $300,000, people would be in so much profit, it would be insane, and they would have to start putting those profits, diversifying into other projects, and probably taking them out of crypto as well and putting some of those profits in other markets as well. So, as crypto moves up, it definitely is good. But I want to know, TJ, from your perspective, are you bearish on Cardano?
No, absolutely not. Not bearish on Cardano. Think they're doing a lot of things that are going to set it up for long-term success, and they're not focused on hype-based pumps. So they're not going to try to generate a lot of hype necessarily to pump up the price. They're just going to keep doing what they're doing, creating good tech and creating things that work. Now, is that the best for making the most money in the shortest amount of time? No, probably not. But I've got a long-term approach with a lot of my crypto investing. So Cardano is good for the long term.
But what do you think for the rest of this bull run?
Oh, I still think it's going to have a nice, massive pump right there at the end. It's just going to come all at once, and it's going to, I think, blow people's minds. Like when it, what?
Ooh.
That
sounded interesting.
Yeah, I think it's gonna pop all at once. We'll say that.
Yeah. I think that's definitely right. I think we are going to see that. And if you look at what happened with Cardano, I mean, let's go back and look. Let's go back and look at the Cardano market for the last bull run. Let's see if this goes back as far back as I want it to go. Weeks. No, that just goes back then. Is that Bitrix? Let's go to CoinMarketCap and look at it then. Okay, so let's go to the all and let's zoom in. Let's look at the last bull run and see what happened. You guys remember what I said about Cardano? Stagnant moves and then explosive runs. It took Cardano basically 1, 2, 3 runs to get from 3 cents to $1.11. That's a 33x,
Wow.
basically. It took it 3 moves. Look at that chart. That's what Cardano does. Okay? You look at other charts. I think I'm joking. I don't know why. But if you look at other charts, what you'll see is a lot, like the stair step movement we've been looking at with Ethereum here. And I don't know why I'm like getting so much strange today.
It's probably all the yelling and screaming and jumping up and down and lack of sleep and being in an airport.
Oh my gosh, it's been such a busy few days.
Yeah. What time did you actually get back to the room last night?
We got back to the room probably about 12:30.
Oh, that's not too bad.
They only let us stay for probably about 45 minutes after the last pitch, I think. Probably somewhere around there, maybe an hour. And then our hotel was very close. We jumped in the limo, came over here, and then we ordered a pizza when we got here. We ordered a pizza when we got here, and
if you were in Atlanta,
went to sleep about 2.
You would have been there all night. Robert was down at Truist. He said when he left there at 1 a.m., there was people still getting there. That came
I saw somebody on Twitter say they were heading down to the Battery. It was like 1:30.
Exactly.
Like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's crazy. But
yeah, that's not the life I live anymore. But I guess that probably would have been me at one time. Okay. All right. Next story here. We got FTX. Speaking of Solana, FTX US hires Gensler era CFTC commissioner to spearhead lobbying.
It's a big move.
On November 2nd, the U.S. branch of global crypto exchange FTX announced the hiring of Mark Wetjen. Now, is FTX, I wonder what FTX US is compared to like Binance and Binance US.
Mm-hmm.
Like, is FTX the same US, the same company as regular FTX? Because Binance US is not the same company.
Right.
So, very interesting here. But that's something we should probably look into. Let me get this thing off the screen here. Okay. Mr. Wetjen will lead the company's communication with U.S. regulatory and legislative bodies such as CFTC, SEC, and various House and Senate committees. Can I get this off the screen too? Okay. In addition to the extensive market credentials, Wetjen's highest profile role was as commissioner of the CFTC during the latter years of Obama's presidency. And this is what you see, guys. You see so much crossover between the regulators and the companies.
Yep.
If you guys remember, TJ, did you ever watch Banking on Bitcoin?
I did.
Yeah. Banking on Bitcoin, when I watched that in 2017, it was like, that was probably the moment where I realized how much I had missed out on in Bitcoin. Because a lot of you guys know, like, I bought Bitcoin back in 2012, but I sold it in 2013, 2014. Mt. Gox happened. I thought Bitcoin was over. And so fast forward to 2017, I'm watching this Banking on Bitcoin where they're going over all of the things. They're going over BitInstant that I was using. They were going over Mt. Gox, which I had no idea even what it was when I was using it. And one of the big things was they started talking about the Bit license in New York and how the main guy who was against crypto in New York, the main attorney, created the Bit license.
Yep.
And made all the money on the Bit license afterwards. And so, you constantly see this overlap. If you look at the Ripple case, the main attorneys for Ripple are people that were at the SEC supposedly during the time that their illegal token sale was going on. So you see this overlap. I tell you what, I'd be very interested to see. Where is Gary Gensler going to go after he's done in the SEC?
Yep. It'll be real interesting. I bet it will be a large crypto organization.
Yeah, probably FTX.
Probably. I was going to say that, but I didn't. It could be Coinbase. It could, who knows? Maybe Crypto.com.
I mean, I don't know who else would be outside of that.
Well, Crypto.com, if they're trying to make a play.
Well, I would say the thing to look at there is, they don't always go to exchanges. sometimes they go to like crypto venture capital funds and stuff like that. So that might make more sense for him too. Something that's like in thick with Goldman Sachs, considering Gary Gensler is basically a paid Goldman Sachs hack. Goldman Sachs hack. That's what he is. I didn't say Goldman Sachs sack. That would be okay. All right, Shiba Inu investor. Now this is really big. I watched Wendy make a video about this yesterday on TikTok. Shiba investor who turned 8K into $5.7 billion starts moving SHIB tokens. Now, there are many people who believed previous to yesterday that this was a Satoshi situation. Basically, Satoshi does not have access to his wallets. Why? Well, we all think he's dead. Basically, that's what it all boils down to. Most of us believe that Satoshi was Hal Finney or maybe Dave Kleinman. I believe it was Hal Finney. There is another guy, I can't slip my mind, who is dead, who people think could have been Satoshi. And so I think it makes a lot of sense that it was Hal Finney. There's so many reasons for that. But these original Bitcoins have never been touched. They've never been moved. Being dead would make a lot of sense. But there's no guarantee. There is a chance that this million, a lot of people think it's closer to 600,000 Bitcoin that Satoshi actually owned, that he would, very little chance they would move, but it's not 100%. They could move. Maybe Satoshi is not dead. And maybe they will move one day, and that would kind of wreck the market for a temporary, amount of time. But the Shiba people thought this was the case with this $1 billion wallet. Because these coins had never been moved, people believed that they had lost access to them. So the Shiba Inu wallet that famously turned $8,000 into $5.7 billion is now active again, according to Etherscan data. For the first time since April, the whale has started moving funds, prompting concerns about immense selling pressure. The Shiba Inu billionaire has so far transferred roughly 10 trillion SHIB tokens that are worth about 2.7 billion to 4 empty addresses. The wallet in question controls about 13% of Shiba Inu's total circulating supply. Now, can we be honest about this? Can we make a declaration here? Like, this is one of the founders of Shiba, right?
It's got to be.
This is not some random person that put $8,000 into Shiba.
No.
There's 0% chance of that. People keep talking about this. They keep saying, like, God, what a great, smart investor. He invested $8,000 into Shiba when it was almost worthless. And wow, like, look how much money make. Anybody can do that. No, this is a guy that knew what was going on. This is a guy that knew the plan, knew they were going to pump it. This is definitely one of the founders of Shiba, or someone that was involved very early on. This is not some guy who was like, oh, you know what? I really like the look of this dog token. Let me buy it.
Right?
But that's what people believe, actually, which is asinine, as 10, as 11. The investors started buying SHIB tokens back in April 2020 and managed to turn it into a multi-billion fortune in only 19 months. Shiba Inu tokens soared 825% in October. It managed to surpass Dogecoin, which is still crazy. Some speculating that the address in question was inaccessible, which is why the tokens have been untouched despite massive gains. However, recent transfers show this is definitely not the case. It shed 11% after this wallet had started moving tokens. I mean, it had already been on a little bit of a downtrend, so, not really that surprising. But Wendy was basically warning people, like, if you're investing in Shiba, you need to take profits right now, because this guy could wreck the entire Shiba market.
Yep. That's all it would take. And that's what people
So
forget.
This is kind of what we talk.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. That's what people don't keep in mind sometimes. When the supply is so centralized with such a few amount of wallets, it takes in this case, one guy could move the whole market. But realistically, there's a small group of people that probably talk to each other and can coordinate to dump the whole thing whenever they want, basically.
Well, the one thing to keep in mind is this guy does not actually have $5.7 billion.
Right.
There's not enough liquidity in Shiba for him to be able to sell all that.
No.
So, I mean, really, if you don't have enough liquidity to sell, it's like some guy that shows you a wallet. It's like I saw some video on TikTok of somebody who had sent, I think it was Joshua Jake. Somebody had sent him something so it was like, look at my friend's wallet. And he had like $250 trillion in his wallet. Wow. It was on the Coinbase wallet, because it was basically some token with a fake price. Mm-hmm. Like, we've seen this happen before, where people show these gigantic wallets. That's not real money. Just because it shows you have a certain dollar amount in your wallet, if there's no liquidity to that coin, you actually don't have any money. You can't get rid of it. Like when rug pulls happen, like your wallet can show this massive amount of money, but there's literally zero. But here's what I would tell people is we have warned people about, these certain meme coins and about Shiba and some of this other stuff. I've never called Shiba a scam. I definitely SafeMoon is a scam for sure. I've never called Shiba a scam. I just said there are a lot of really concerning things. I don't like the way that they market it in the beginning. And when it comes to the price, or when it comes to the actual token, it doesn't really do anything. But if they are coming out with Shiba Swap, that they can actually have some development, then I can change my mind on all that stuff. But where you have to be careful is when you have these gigantic whale wallets that can dump the market. But I would say if you look at a lot of coins, it's actually not that different. If you look at Ethereum, I think it's 13% of the total supply is held in like the top 100 addresses, something like that. So even when you look at Ethereum, there are some issues here. I would actually say the fact that this isn't a liquid amount of money, like he can't actually get 5.7 billion, it actually secures it a little bit better because he can't pull all this money out at one time. But he could dump a significant portion, and he probably will. It looks like he's getting ready. So be careful. We probably will see a pretty big pullback here pretty soon. But the question would be, would this pullback be something that could be an opportunity to buy the dip for some people? Definitely could be. Here we go. Futures flat ahead of historic taper announcement. China warns of downward pressure on economy. So what is this about? This is about the gigantic Fed meeting that's actually going on today. Jerome Powell will be making some statements about what they talk about. The central bank is widely expected to announce the reduction of asset purchases, with a majority of analysts expecting the Fed reducing its monthly purchases of treasuries by $10 billion and mortgage-backed securities by $5 billion. There were some moves on the market leading up to this, but let's see where it was, where I want to talk. So here it is. Stocks remain complacent and are not likely under stress because we all think we know what will come out of today's meeting. A gradual start of the tapering of the bond purchases program. A taper announcement will likely be seamless. What may be seamless is the rate discussion. So this is where things get really interesting, because if they were to raise rates, that would wreck the markets, okay? The big question will be whether they will signal anything about when the rates hike will start. But check this out. The statement here is from Jeanette Garrity, chief economist at Robertson Stevens Wealth Management, said, I think they're going to try to avoid that. Now, really think about what this statement means here. Now, this is one person's opinion. How connected are they? I don't know. Okay. But this statement implies that they know that the interest rate hikes are coming, and they know when they want to do them. They're just not telling us, right? They're going to try to avoid that conversation. So very interesting stuff. I definitely think we're going to see that come probably the beginning of next year. Anything suggesting that the Fed is confident to keep withdrawing monetary policy support following a start day may allow equity investors to buy more. Let's see here. Premier League cautioned downward pressure on the economy, talking about the Chinese economy. There was one more thing in here I wanted to cover. Let me see if I can find where it was. The Treasury yield was steady. That will be dropping here pretty soon. The long and the short of it is that one thing that is going to be coming out of this meeting, most likely, I don't see it in here now, maybe I saw it somewhere else, is that all of the stimulus money is pretty much over. The stimulus money, they're tapering that as well. Anyone who's getting any benefits from the pandemic, that's going to be ending very soon. If you remember, that was actually something that helped really spike Bitcoin up at the beginning of the pandemic, was all the money printing, all the stimulus money. But that's going to be going away soon. I actually think this is going to probably heavily affect the job market, because as everybody knows right now, like the Atlanta airport is a great example. Almost everything in the Atlanta airport is closed. Mm-hmm. Why? Because they don't have workers. I went yesterday to a place when we were getting ready to leave to come here to Houston. I went to a Chinese restaurant, kind of like Panda Express. I can't remember what it was called. And literally there were 3 people working there, and one of them quit in the middle of my order.
No way.
And the woman working there looked up and she's like, I'm sorry, I don't know what to do. The other girl who works here just quit. It's just me here. And like, it was so crazy because one of them supposed to be like, ringing up and getting drinks, and the other supposed to be making the food. And the one lady was having to do everything. And it's just like, it seems like that's just the way it is in America from now on, right? You go to restaurants and they don't have enough help. Service everywhere is terrible right now. Have you noticed that?
Yes, I have for sure. And it's
Yeah.
an empty store. I was at the outlets the other day and it's like a ghost town. Like there's
Yeah.
half, like you said, half the shops are closed. Like they closed for COVID and just never opened back up again or for the
Yeah.
pandemic.
Well, but some of them reopened, but they don't have workers to keep,
Hmm.
things going. Like I went to Arby's maybe like 3 months ago, and I went through the drive-through. We were coming back from a trip or something, and we were just looking for something quick. So the wife ran into Moe's, and I went around. Arby's is in the same building, so I was going through the drive-through. It was 6 o'clock on a Sunday afternoon, and it literally had a sign up that said, "We're closed. We have no one to work."
Wow.
That's nuts. But I think we're actually going to see a reversal of that as this stimulus money disappears. People are going to have to go get jobs. And I think that what's actually going to happen is the employers are going to be able to take all of the power back
Hmm.
because people are going to be desperate for jobs over the next year. And then we do believe deflation is coming, which leads to a reduction in the workforce. So we could be seeing some very interesting times for jobs. If you have a job and you're thinking about quitting for some reason, I would be very careful over the next several months to do that. And I mean, if it's something you hate or, you have harassment or, something crazy, you quit. But if you're just like, you know what, maybe I want to do something different, may not be the best time to do that. XRP Bulls plan comeback with arrival of WXRP in DeFi. Now, what is WXRP? This is wrapped XRP. What is a wrapped token? A wrapped token is a new incarnation, if you will, of a token so it can run on a certain blockchain. So when we talk about wrapped assets, for the most part, we are talking about Ethereum. So XRP will be able to be used on the Ethereum blockchain through this wrapped asset. So if you look at like wrapped Bitcoin on CoinMarketCap, you'll notice the price is the same price as Bitcoin. Why? Because it's basically just a synthetic version of Bitcoin that follows along with the price. With wrapped Bitcoin, you can actually use Bitcoin in transactions on the Ethereum blockchain without having to exchange it for something else. So that's what we're looking at here. Wrapped XRP will be added to the Ethereum blockchain in December, increasing the utility of the altcoin. The arrival of XRP on DeFi opens new markets and uses in the decentralized application ecosystem. Experts predict Ripple's win in SEC versus Ripple case, implying a bull run in XRP. What experts are they talking about here? There are experts that think this case is over soon. Very interesting. We'll have to get down to that in the story. Alongside positive developments in the SEC versus Ripple case, XRP Network has bullish updates in the ecosystem. They announced support for wrapped XRP on the Ethereum blockchain. Let's see. Wrapped tokens are pegged to the value of another crypto. Wrapped has revealed that WXRP will hit the Ethereum blockchain in December, be backed one-to-one by XRP in the DeFi ecosystem. David Schwartz, the CTO of Ripple, shared the news with crypto Twitter. He said exactly what I just told you was going on about the wrapped assets. To place XRP in custody with Hex Trust, a licensed and insured provider of bank-grade custody for digital assets. The critical difference between XRP and WXRP is that the wrapped version of the altcoin can be used in smart contracts. As market participants allocate more capital, WXRP boosts utility and demand in the DeFi ecosystem. Let's see here. Wrath of Kahneman here on Twitter believes that this will have a huge effect. Let's see. In response to the announcement, it posted 11% gains. And crypto YouTuber Ben Armstrong, how about that,
Oh,
believes the SEC versus Ripple case. Oh, I'm the expert. It's me.
look
Oh,
at
it's
that.
me.
Oh, look, they got you in the
They
Gucci
came.
suit.
They do
That's funny.
on my birthday. I
Wow,
know, that's hilarious.
that is.
I'm surprised they didn't have the mariachi band in the background. You know what? I know the XRP people are really loving me right now, and for good reason. But I was on Cheddar TV yesterday, so in 2 days on two different channels, I talked about Ripple. I talked about XRP, and yesterday on the Cheddar TV segment, I talked about how I believe the Ripple lawsuit could actually propel Bitcoin in the entire space further, which I've talked about on the channel before. But let's see, King Thighs I want to call him King Thighs. I don't know if that's the right way to say that.
Thighs or
but King Thighs is a funny name.
Thighs, maybe.
Well, yeah, but let's just say Thighs.
Okay.
He is the king of thighs. That's kind of weird. He must love KFC. XRP at $1.11, assuming it breaks out whenever it's re-added everywhere. I'd imagine it's a quick rip to $3. That would definitely be a pretty good situation. So, but I do want to mention, like I said earlier, I think one important thing about this story is the fact that this is going to add more liquidity in a lot of ways to XRP. It's now going to be able to be traded on more DEXs in a much easier process of trading them on DEXs. With wrapped XRP coming to Ethereum, this now links it to the king of DeFi. So this is a gigantic move for XRP DeFi. It makes sense. It's a payments, remittance payments project. They're dealing with liquidity, on-demand liquidity. It's RippleNet. All this stuff lends over to DeFi really well, so we'll have to see what happens with that. I definitely think this is a great step in the right direction. So that's all I got for today, guys. That is the end of the show. I'm going to go nurse my throat. I almost choked 7 times during the show today. So everybody, thank you for watching. I'm going to be able to watch the chat hopefully on Monday when we're remote live stream. I will be back in the studio tomorrow morning for a regular live stream. And then I think DZ's doing Friday as I'll be on my flight to Las Vegas for our meetup in the World Series of Poker. I think that's all I got.
There you go.
Be blessed. Big boy out.